YouTube, what's up? My name is Chicken Fried Rice, and welcome to today's R.U.S E game. We're going to be playing a game on D-Day, which is a 3 versus 3 map. You have the invasion of Normandy. So I'm going to be speeding up this game quite a bit because it is one long game. Now, I'm not going to be speeding up the beginning, but I'm really going to speed it through the middle because it is about 40 minutes of lovely gaming. So what you have here is me setting up here, which is what you should always be setting up here to take over the city. Now, unfortunately for me, the Japanese player here gets to the city right before I do, and he knows, obviously, because everyone goes here. Luckily for me, I pull out a couple of tanks and some infantry. Now we're in a city game with infantry. Now this is not too great for me because I don't want to build Italian artillery. It's expensive, and American artillery is expensive, and, well, so is British. So the only way to get them out is either to bomb them or to do some infantry fighting, which is going to be a pain. So right here I move in with my M13s, take out the infantry base, and basically I'm just trying to slow him down as much as he can. Now he pulls out his 88 $20 anti-aircraft / anti-tank guns, which are a nightmare to have to deal with. So I go here, destroy the other infantry base he tries to make. That's not going to stop him because he's going to make another one. He just makes them like crazy. Not a great idea, guys. If you lose 2 bases in a few minutes and you keep making in the same spot, you're going to keep losing it. So right here I move in. This is a very great thing. He's using combat engineers with flamethrowers. Those are actually murdering all the infantry you send in, and infantry is the only thing you can really send into a city. Now on the other side here, with 3 M15s, yeah, it's very easy to take on those anti-tank guns because M15s have good enough speed that once you get in range, they're done. So right now I'm getting pushback, and there's not much I'm going to be able to do. And so in this kind of situation, you don't want to keep struggling to hold the city, because once you lose it, like I set up a secondary HQ fine, but once you reach a certain point where you know you're finished, there's no point in bothering to keep pushing. Right here I'm doing a little bit of a push, my M15s, and guys will see I'll make I'll make what I like to call a retreat push, which is you make a push that won't necessarily kill the enemy because you don't have the resources to do it yet, but you're going to disrupt him so badly that it's going to take him time to recuperate. And that's what this stack of M15s here is doing. I know it's not going to kill him because he's got air support from the German guy, but I do know that if I send it into his base, he's not going to be operational for a certain amount of time. So I send it in, and I basically do as much disrupting as I can. And he pulled out a lot of anti-tank guns, which is fine. And I just did the equivalent amount of damage and money that he did to me. So he's in the same situation as me, except what I'm doing now is, since I'm not in a great position, I'm going to go and start producing an economy. Because I know that as Italy, especially against Japan, when I start entering the later stages of the game, I'm not going to be able to beat this guy with with just my basic units. I'm going to have an economical superiority. It's the only chance I have at winning, and really that's the only thing my team has. So right now the enemy team has the advantage. They sort of have access to this town. We're kind of cock-blocking them, which is what you want to do. You don't want to give it up. You just want to stop trying to hold it, but on the same time, what you want to do is you don't want to take it, but you want to prevent the enemy from taking it, make it too costly for him to try and hold that town. So we're just he's just screwing around with the guy with his infantry. I've never really seen a player use infantry that much as his main unit, and yeah, since the British guy is going anti-aircraft, and since I'm going a much more defensive build right now, more of a recuperate and offensive, because I was more aggressive towards the beginning, what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to set up an anti-aircraft net, because no one's got armored anti-air yet, and really the only things Italian player can really do in late game is make a shit ton of money, and it's armored anti-aircraft guns. And then maybe eventually you can make some tanks and all that, but for you to beat anyone as Italy in a tank offensive, you have to at least be 3 to 1 attacking them. You have to outnumber them like ridiculously. There's no way you're going to make it or else. So right here you see me, I'm making a strong economy for our team. So is he. The British guy's having some trouble with the air, which is part of the reason why I start placing anti-aircraft guns. And not much is happening right now, so you guys, I'm going to skip until a little later in the game. Alright guys, welcome back. We are a little later in the game, actually precisely about 6-7 minutes. And as you can tell, there hasn't been that many major changes. This guy here's starting to make cannons, but he's really doing a hard job with the air, disrupting the enemy. On the same time, I set up a beautiful anti-air net on this side. I can't do it on this side because there's a lot of armor, and that armor is preventing me from setting up anti-aircraft. Right here, I make a stack of 8 M15s. Now, you'd be surprised what M15s can do in the late game. The thing about M15s is they're so inexpensive to produce that you can mass produce them. And right there, the British guy just took down the whole entire stack before he took down the whole entire Japanese stack. He's been doing that, building up Air Force attacking, building up Air Force attacking. It's a very, very common tactic. So, not much happening. Now you notice a giant amount of anti-aircraft there is because the British guy got bombed by the Japanese guy. Something you want to be watching out on all maps. You always want to pay attention and be careful for the enemy bombing. Right here, I pull out a stack of M15s. Now, surprisingly, this guy's got nothing to stop M15s at this point in the game. And the thing with M15s is you don't see them coming. These tanks are moving so fast across the landscape that, sure, by the time I get there, he's got a bunch of anti-tank guns out. But now all he's done is produce anti-tank guns. What does that mean? Well, the American guy is going to send in a bunch of infantry, and he is not going to have anything to stop it except for his own infantry. So he's put himself kind of in a losing position because he's wasted money on units. It's in one way, and now he has to compensate for another offensive. So goes off here. Although the enemy does has artillery and a few tanks here and there, he also has some Vickers. On the same time, I am doing a massive arms buildup right here with my giant army of M15s. They're just a great tank. Whenever you're playing Italy, in my opinion, there's no point in getting advanced prototype tanks. Just make M15s. That's what I did. It's like, it works fine. They're not going to be able to... Like, the only thing that can beat M15s is if you have a bunch of Laffys. Because Laffys are inexpensive, and they outrange the M15s. Apart from that, as long as you're outnumbering the person, the M15s will just destroy whatever you're trying to take down. So, I got my giant stack just plowing through everything. And then here, well, I made an even bigger stack. Why not? And this guy doesn't stand much of a chance with a couple of IS tanks. Not that I want to be mean, but IS tanks aren't meant to take down an army of 1,000 M15s. And a very common tactic, which you guys saw when I took down that hacker, is you drive straight through the enemy tanks. The M15s have a great turning speed. Not all tanks have this, especially not anti-tank guns, which is the best place to be driving straight through it. You'll see here. My tanks stop right there, but then I pick up the slack and I just drive straight towards the enemy and straight through him. The M15s are just basically like a bulldozer with a huge plow. And as you can tell, this game is pretty much over. We have just secured everything. Everyone's done. Took care of that guy. Took care of that guy. There's just a little basis to take care of here and there. Now, the reason why I want you guys to learn from this is does not mean because you lose your advanced position that you will lose the game. Just make it impossible for the enemy to hold it, and then on the same time give him as much damage with taking as less damage as possible, and then you can once again pull out an offensive. So right here, this guy's trying to do some last minute shenanigans with his Sturmovix, you know. He's trying to harass, but unfortunately for him, I have a lot of anti-aircraft guns, and the British Air Force is, well, it's pretty big. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments below. Please subscribe. And I really hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys all next time.